Hello, welcome back. So in our previous segments, we've introduced you to what igneous rocks are, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. So now I want to show you how we can change any of these kinds of rocks into any other kind of rock. And so this is going to be called the rock cycle. So let's assume that we start with igneous rock. How could we change an igneous rock into a sedimentary rock? So we're going to subject it to weathering, so that could be extremes in temperature, water, ice, wind, gravity. So all of this is going to break the igneous rock down into smaller pieces, which we're going to call sediments. And then those sediments can be transported by a river, and then they can end up in a lake or an ocean, where they can be covered up and then they can be lithified and turned into a sedimentary rock. Now let's say we've got the sedimentary rock and we want to turn it into a metamorphic rock. Okay, now we're going to apply heat or pressure, or heat and pressure, or we could do the hot water. So all of these are different ways of changing the rock. We don't want to completely melt it, because if we completely melted it, then it would come back as another igneous rock. So now we've got a metamorphic rock, so now let's say that we want to change the metamorphic rock into a sedimentary. Well, we're going to subject the metamorphic rock to temperature and water and ice and wind, and we're going to weather it into sediments, and then transport those sediments to some place where they can settle and then be compacted and cemented together, and then you've got sedimentary rocks. So notice that basically you can take any kind of rock and turn it into any other kind of rock if you have the right temperature, the right pressure, and the right composition, the right minerals in it. Okay, this next slide that I want to show you shows you how the pressure changes inside the earth and the depths at which you have those different pressures. And then it also shows you different temperatures inside the earth. And then you'll notice that it's got three main areas, the green, the blue, and the red, which correspond to different kinds of rocks. So first, look at the kinds of rocks that are formed under relatively low pressures and relatively low temperatures. Okay, those are the sedimentary rocks. Now, look at the kinds of rocks that you can have under relatively high pressures and high temperatures. And you'll notice that those tend to be the igneous rocks. And then look at what happens when you have intermediate pressures and intermediate temperatures, and then those tend to be the metamorphic rocks. So we'll explore this in more detail in a later lesson. Okay, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about the abundance of these different kinds of rocks on the Earth's surface.